please join me in welcoming the head table as Dr. Hicks comes to introduce our speaker.
It is my pleasure of introducing the 30th Mayor of the City of Birmingham, the Honorable Mayor Randall Woodfin. So Mayor Woodfin's philosophy of putting people first has guided his leadership. He's revitalized the city and the city's 99 neighborhoods, and he's made that a top priority during his administration. He's focusing on enhancing education for young people, fostering a climate of economic opportunity for all residents, and leveraging public-private partnerships to make the cities as best as it can be. His vision to create new education and career opportunities for students led to the creation of Birmingham Promise, a public-private partnership that provides apprenticeships, tuition assistance to cover college costs for Birmingham high school graduates. Mayor Woodfin has also led a regional effort to invest in renovation and expansion of the Birmingham Jefferson Convention Center complex, making the city an emerging destination for sports and entertainment. Through Pardons in Progress, he removed a barrier from employment opportunities and offered a second chance with this mayoral pardons of 15,000 misdemeanor marijuana possession charges dating back to 1990. Under the Woodfin administration, the city has advanced plans to revitalize aging public housing sites and has continued to secure historic investments in projects to improve access to housing, expand educational options, transportation options, transform neighborhoods, and creating new job and business opportunities for people in Birmingham. Here's some successes in addition. These are major successes. $50 million Choice Neighborhoods grant to revitalize the Smithfield community and other historic communities. $21.7 million RAISE grant for roadway improvements and an urban trail. $10.8 million for the Good Jobs Challenge initiative to train 1,000 residents for healthcare jobs. Now, this is through public and private partnerships and other targeted efforts. The city has made significant progress in reviving large, long dormant tracts of land in the city. That includes the Caraway and Trinity Hospital properties and the former Century Plaza site. I've observed Mayor Wood from a distance. I will tell you, I know for a fact he is passionate, deeply passionate about the city of Birmingham. He's deeply passionate about young people and impacting their lives, and he's passionate about families, and particularly his as well. I have observed Mayor Woodfin and a warming station for persons experiencing homelessness, where he came out in the evening just to check to make sure people were being taken care of, and that the city administrators and staff were doing right by the people. I've seen that. I've also seen you talking to young people on the streets in the communities and having these engaging conversations with them. So I know that you're a man of your word. Now, last time I was up here, we were sitting next to each other. This was on election day. And I gave Mayor Woodfin a little test. He didn't know he got tested. And I asked him about him being a new father. And I'll tell you what, he passed the test. Because when I brought it up, he had a smile on his face. He immediately reached into his pocket and pulled out his phone and said, "Let me show you a picture." How many fathers immediately have a picture of that child? Typically, it's the mother. But he had it, and he was beaming, and he was showing that his daughter was ready for Election Day. She had her Election Day outfit on, all right? So I would like all of us to please welcome our fellow Kiwanian, son of Birmingham, the Honorable Mayor Randall Woodfin.
Dr. Hicks, thank you so much for that introduction. President Nix and fellow Kiwanians, good afternoon. It is so good to be with you all. A couple housekeeping notes. I got some strain on my voice, so please bear with me today. The other note is COVID in 2020 really showed me who were leaders in our community. In that time, I got a chance to engage a lot of community members. Now, many people would say that City of Birmingham, you have key partners such as the school system, your public transit authority, the waterworks. We can talk about that another day. And other key partners to move your community forward as it relates to services in the community. But that year showed me it was probably no more important partner in a public health crisis than to be locked in arms with the Jefferson County Department of Public Health. And at the time, which was at this point, I'm dating myself 5 years ago, less gray hair then, by the way, Dr. Hicks was in the number 2 position in the department. Now he's the lead person, lead man in charge. And I can just say in front of my fellow Kiwanians, we are grateful for your leadership, because what you do there from a public health perspective and saving lives and over-communicating with all residents, not just Birmingham, but in Jefferson County, makes a difference. So thank you, not only for the introduction, but thank you for your leadership. I want to do some acknowledgments in addition to all the fellow Kiwanians here. And please forgive me for never being at the meetings. There's another competing meeting every Tuesday. It's called the Birmingham City Council meeting. I'm actually a member here, but a guest there. But I have to be there. And it's my honor to work with this council, who I'll introduce in a minute. But before I do, I want to acknowledge Senator Roger Smitherman, who was here, State Representative David Faulkner, Mayor Stuart Welch of Mountain Brook, and of course my Birmingham City Council, who was here. I'll acknowledge them individually by name. In order, even if they're not here, I want to recognize them. That's Clinton Woods, who leads District 1. Please stand when I call your name. District 2, led by Councilor Hunter Williams. District 3, led by Valerie Abbott. District 4, led by J.T. Moore. District 5, led by Dr. Darrell O'Quinn. District 6, led by Crystal Smitherman. District 7, led by Pro Tem Wardine Alexander, as well as District 8, Carol Clark, and District 9, Latonya Tate. Ladies and gentlemen, Kiwanians, the work we do at City Hall, it cannot be done without them. I feel extremely lucky as a mayor to have a legislative body, not individuals who collectively work as a team in the foxhole with me, the 10 of us doing the work every day. So anything I'm about to say and everything I'm going to say, I take no individual credit. The credit collectively belongs with these 9 individuals I've named and who have stood before you. So I want to publicly thank them. I can't believe it's been 8 years. I literally did not have any gray hair. We're going to talk about that. I already told you. We'll talk about that later. But I do want to talk about our future, everybody. I'm excited to announce to you, and I haven't even shared this with the council yet, so this is literally breaking news to everyone here. The U.S. Department of Commerce today has just awarded the City of Birmingham, in partnership with Southern Research as the lead, along with UAB, a $44 million grant to support our designation as a tech hub. That deserves a round of applause. Getting beyond the dollars, which, make no mistake, those are game-changing dollars, I want to explain to you the importance of that. On top of the dollars, on top of bringing thousands of jobs over the next decade to the city limits of Birmingham, I want to remind Kiwanians that Birmingham was the poster child. Birmingham was the poster child of the Industrial Revolution in the South. Our legacy was carved out of the iron ore that was embedded in Red Mountain. In the years that followed, I think we all know, it's no secret to anyone, we made a pivot from metal to medicine with partners like UAB. And I believe what was just giving today, this, not just this designation in October, but this money that will usher in and accelerate growth, is our next steps towards another technological revolution. Because this grant will focus on equitable AI-driven biotechnology. That's a lot of words. The short version is, this will be a breakthrough that can shatter the generational cycle of poverty, produce thousands of jobs, increase our city's population and grow our city in a way that all of you all want it to be known for. With that said, make no mistake about it, Kiwanians. 2024 was a difficult year, not just for our country. Many of the wounds that ache across our nation were felt even more deeply right here in our city, in our community, in our 99 neighborhoods. 2024 was filled with a lot of those, what I would call, and some of you all may know this term, midnight moments. But even through those long nights, our team worked tirelessly through some of the rough patches we collectively shared in 2024. I think a better way to say it is that if 2024 was our midnight, 2025 is our dawn. And I want to share with you why I feel that way. Many of you all know that we made a promise. We made a promise in 2024 to reduce crime. And the truth is, we did just that. Rapes went down. Assaults were down. Auto theft was way down. And so many other crimes were way down. But there was this one category that continued to overshadow everything else we did. And this one category is more than a category, it's more than numbers. It's lives, it's family members, it's human beings. And that's homicides. It ties back to an issue that I labeled during the early years of my administration as a public health crisis, and that is gun violence. It's a problem we simply cannot police ourselves out of. So I did what any leader would do. Back in October, I turned to others for help. And believe it or not, some of those were Kiwanians. I turned to you. I reached out to dedicated servant leaders in our community to develop a comprehensive plan to improve public safety, as well as eradicate gun violence, which has been at an epidemic level in our city. That crime commission was made up of 21 members, representing residents and leaders, not only in business and community, but also in criminal justice, medical, as well as nonprofit sectors throughout our city. 2 months later, we have our findings. And most importantly, there are 5 categories to tackle this challenge, and I want to name them for you. 1, and it is very direct, that is to put more police on our streets. 2, it is to secure a state ban on conversion devices. You may know them for their street name Glock switches that make a conventional handgun perform like a machine gun. 3 is to continue to increase the collaboration, partnerships, and relationships with not only the Jefferson County Sheriff Mark Petway, but our federal law enforcement partners as well. And then 4, invest in our neighborhoods to remove blight, as well as continue to revitalize our communities. And I dare say, probably most importantly, and that is to create educational and workforce opportunities for our young Black men and teens. This is my 8th opportunity in front of you all. That is no secret. This is something I'm passionate about and share with you every single year. But I want to pause to make a key point. Concentrated poverty, plus unemployment, plus our young boys not attending school, plus the staffing issues police departments nationwide are struggling with, on top of a culture of retaliation, led to the perfect storm that we had in 2024 around gun violence and the increase in homicides. That's an equation that has caused tremendous generational hurt. And so what I believe is that by supporting our young Black boys, and especially our men, around making sure that they are gainfully employed, this emphasis on gainfully employed, is absolutely critical to this work. Now, the report gave us more than 80 recommendations. The report gave us more than 80 recommendations on how to combat crime. And so the 4 that we lean in on in the immediate, this is not long-term, this is not far out, this is in the immediate action right now. One is focused deterrence, and that is the ability to have a strategy of identifying high-risk individuals and groups through a combination of enforcement, accountability, as well as social support. 2 is community violence intervention. Internally, that is led by a team member by the name of Uche Bean. She has a partner literally in fighting crime, one of our city councilors who leads the public safety committee for the city council, and that is LaTanya Tate. But this means the expansion of street outreach and hospital-based violence intervention to disrupt cycles of violence and retaliation in the city of Birmingham. 3 is the continued and ongoing analysis of violent incidents to not only identify patterns, but to prevent retaliation, as well as guide future interventions. And the 4th point is also extremely critical, and that is to focus on hotspots where violence is concentrated. This goes well beyond policing. It includes what I mentioned earlier, the increased blight removal and neighborhood revitalization. But the last point is important, and I want to share why. Policing, as vital as it is, to add on top of that, you have to have the breakthrough of the generational cycle of violence and retaliation. In order to do that, we have to restore hope to underserved neighborhoods throughout our city. Because until those residents know there is a way out, that cycle, the cycle we were in 2024, will continue. But I want to encourage you, Kiwanians, because that's the thing about hope. I believe hope is contagious. And never before, based on what's happened, not only with this report, but the outreach, the reaction, the responses, the calls. There's never been an issue during my administration that has unified our communities, our 99 neighborhoods, like this singular issue of public safety right now. From our crime commission, which brought together a diverse set of residents, business owners, and thought leaders from across our city, to all of you all here, Kiwanians and other members of the community, your presence shows how much. Your response to the Crime Commission report shows how much you care about this city. And so as we implant hope in our communities that desperately deserve it, we will be powered by the hope your individual organizations, Kiwanians, and others bring to this cause, to this issue. It's your trust in our leadership as mayor and council. It's your desire for change, Kiwanians. It's your love for the Magic City that will help us bring light to those midnights I described earlier. Now, I want to give you some more great news, because I believe the council and I are ahead of the curve as it relates to what's already been implemented related to this Crime Commission report, or in the process of implementing many of the commission's recommendations. Let's start with police recruitment. Police recruitment has grown to its largest since 2020 and will now be further aided, again, thanks to this council and their vote and their approval and their support, by a $16 million recruitment and retention plan. That includes a $10,000 bonus for new recruits, as well as we have a quarterly retention bonus for officers with the department who've served for 2 or more years, receiving their first $2,500 bonus last month right before Christmas. I think it's also important to note the things around technology. We're growing our real-time crime center with the aid of federal grants that also include a $4.2 million appropriation from Senator Katie Britt last year in 2024. That investment will be an add-on to the more than 2,100 cameras our police department already has access to. I think as we talk about how technology offsets and or enhances policing in our community, this is an extremely important point. But the others are tangible and real for our young people. One being conflict resolution, which is now offered to students in nearly every Birmingham City school through the Common Ground curriculum funded by the city and implemented by our municipal court, led by one of your fellow Kiwanians, Judge Andre Sparks, who I see seated here. And then we have the city's Restore program for our teenagers who are most at risk in the juvenile justice system currently, that continues to make a difference and expanded through a grant we received in 2023 from the Department of Justice. But there are other receipts that you should be familiar with, because as I understand it, I got to arm the folk in this room with enough knowledge to go out here and spread what we're doing to address these issues. The Office of Community Safety Initiatives has awarded a contract to the National Institute for Criminal Justice Reform to take the next steps to produce our gun violence reduction strategy, again, with partnerships with our city councilor and chair of Public Safety Committee and her colleagues, which include shooting reviews and focused deterrence. And I think it's important because I've already acknowledged this young man, Dr. David Hicks, and his team, along with UAB, expanding our hospital-linked violence intervention program with the Department of Health. But I want to explain to you the success of this program. They've been working with gun violence victims admitted to the hospital for quite some time. And now they're going to expand to the emergency room. What you all need to know is that this program has literally led to the decrease in those who have been shot and survived from going back out there and either being shot again and or killing. This program has literally been a success in decreasing retaliation. The Crime Commission report, you should know, points to data that states roughly 1% of our city's population has accounted for more than 50% of the violence. That's why we're making it a priority and working with an external team to launch what we call One Hood. One Hood, that is ONEHOOD, One Hood, to break the cycle of violence through direct interaction with the people in our community most at risk. By focusing on that 1% and injecting new life in all facets of our violence prevention and public safety sectors, we know we can decrease gun violence in our city. Now, that was a lot of information I just shared with you, but I want to be extremely clear by sharing with you and communicating that the vast majority of residents in our city, are very, very peaceful. They are hardworking. They are parents with children. They are law-abiding citizens that are invested in Birmingham, and they want what's best for their communities. The small percentage of people participating in violence, as I understand it from residents who I meet daily, will not shake their resolve for how we make the city better. But again, building a better Birmingham goes beyond public safety. We just simply call it building. You all know that the administration's top priority has always been neighborhood revitalization. And that is reflected in this amended budget this city council just passed. So just to give you a few, more than $20 million will be spent for street resurfacing, sidewalks, traffic calming, and expanded blight reduction efforts. That includes $1 million for sidewalks. Ms. Abbott wants more. Where is she? I'll get you more. Demolition at nearly $3 million plus weed abatement and about $15 million in street paving. But our commitment to education remains as strong, with about $2 million, or right at $2 million, committed to Birmingham Promise, $1 million to support mental health, and $750,000 to support early childhood education initiatives. But speaking of the Promise, which I feel like over 8 years, this is something I've talked with you about for at least 7 of them. We have transformed the lives of the last 5 years post-implementation. More than 1,600 high school graduates have now attended college in the state of Alabama because of the Birmingham Promise, with more than 300 of them with more than 300 of them also having paid internships in their final year of high school, being exposed to their dreams and their passions. And so when we talk about the cycle of violence, Kiwanians, those midnight moments that darken the doorsteps of many in our community, parents, children, grandparents, it's efforts like the promise that also shatter the cycle and bring life and give hope to mothers, children, and grandparents. And so looking forward, I think this is an appropriate time to announce the launch of the Office of Resilience and Sustainability. I believe the South can and should be a place where natural resources, our people, our businesses, all can work together to keep Birmingham healthy for generations to come. And so today, this afternoon, I am happy to introduce to you all Sherry Lee Bloodworth as our city's first Chief Resilience and Sustainability Officer. I want to share with you a little bit about Sherry Lee and her team, who are already at work with initiatives related to carbon emissions, healthy food sovereignty, and the creation of an enterprise-wide sustainability plan. This is our future, and it touches everything we do at City Hall. Now, you've heard me say, as I kind of wind down and what I wanted to share with you this afternoon before we get into Q&A, you've heard me say several times that it will take all of us. That's each Kiwanian in this room, that's each guest of a Kiwanian in this room, that's you and your capacity with the organization you serve in a leadership role in, to push Birmingham forward. How do we push Birmingham forward? And the question is, what is your role? What is your role in pushing Birmingham forward? I believe your role is very simple. Whether that is signing up for Connect Birmingham, or whether you can register your home or your business cameras with the Birmingham Police Department to assist in any issues in your area, the truth is every single one of you all in this room is key to Birmingham's public safety initiatives. Look, y'all, Birmingham is no stranger to tough times. You know the history of this city as well as I do. But I also believe that every time we've been faced with a seemingly unsurmountable obstacle, we beat it when we face it together. Birmingham, Alabama is at its best when we collectively approach and address any issue together. Yes, 60 plus years ago, we shattered the specter of Jim Crow, but I want to talk about modern day. Let's talk about 2024, when together, thanks to the program like Page Pals, we raised reading scores for our third grade readers significantly to 81% of third graders reading at grade level, compared to being in the 50s the year before. That's because we decided to work together. Let's talk about Coca-Cola United breaking ground on a facility in Kingston as part of a $330 million investment project that will also create more jobs. That is because public and private sector decided to work together. Let's talk about how our community development's Ready to Own program provided home buyers the ability to receive up to $10,000 down payment for closing costs on their homes for sale in the city of Birmingham. That is because we put our families first and invest in them. But let's also talk about the investments we're making to modernize city facilities and city technologies, including improved business licensing, permitting, and websites that will better meet our residents and small business owners where they are and improve government efficiency. But let's also talk about the resolve of a people who walk daily in the footsteps of a generation so bold and so defiant, Kiwanians, that there was no mountain too high or valley too low when it's time to roll up our sleeves and make Birmingham better. Because when we move as one, as a city united, I believe our footsteps will collectively rewrite history for Birmingham. From the Birmingham Promise student who graduated college debt-free, to the sports fans cheering their favorite athletes in Protective Stadium, We know there is nothing we cannot accomplish here. Because the truth, Kiwanians, we already have. So yes, I am optimistic. I am hopeful. And I want Kiwanians and guests to join me in being optimistic and hopeful about Birmingham's future. 2024 may have had its dark spots, but I've shared with you, and I'll continue to share with you, not only the rays of progress we had also in 2024, but more great news to come on top of this Tech Hub's designation and the millions of dollars we were awarded today. 2025 gives us the opportunity to shine brighter, but 2025 also gives us more opportunity to shine together. Thank you.